Radio's greatest hits of today and yesterday. Where you hear radio the way it used to be. It's all right here on airchecks.com.
Members on two of them are perfectly happy to be there. They're threatening a moral strike if the owner of the vessels orders them back to Poland. A spokesman says they decided against a sit-in or more drastic measures because that would have amounted to mutiny. The Soviet Union is denying that it had a hand in imposing martial law in Poland. Ronald Reagan still pretty sure it did. He's confident about getting Western support for his sanctions against the Soviets. 85 murders for the year in the MUC, and that's pretty close to doubling last year's 46. MUC police spokesman Norm Couillard has had a chance to go over the figures. Says one reason may be high tension because of poor economic times. One reason he does not give much importance to, though, is settlings of accounts.
Well, the settling of accounts I don't think is really out of hand as such. We maybe count 15 or so that may be related in one way or another to a selling of accounts to a certain organized milieu. But as a general rule, basically the number of murders we have been around the family disputes, domestic problems, arguments between people, and, as I mentioned, the armed robberies.
City Councilor Sid Stevens has also been going over the figures. He is blaming high unemployment and the current treatment of young offenders by the courts. He does not expect the picture to improve in the new year. A New Year's Day hangover for your wallet. Prices go up for industrial milk, and that means that we pay more for cheese, ice cream, yogurt, and other dairy products. The Consumers Association says bad timing for all of that. The pricing formula is now being reviewed by Ottawa. It feels the government should wait until after that review is completed to decide on an increase. That increase, by the way, does not affect table milk. And the wellhead price for oil will go up tomorrow. Won't affect us until March, though. The oil companies have had to use up their current stocks before they charge the new price. That'll amount to another $1.50 per liter. We're on the brink of 1982 and the end of 1981. Carol Treiser is taking a look back and a look ahead at what we're about to get into.
The year started out tame enough. Inflation was running high, but for the first few months of the year, Ottawa wasn't propelling interest rates in retaliation, so we were pretty happy. But once the year got moving, it ran like a runaway roller coaster. The first big surprise, René Lévesque joined the 8 opposing premiers to battle Trudeau and Davis. The move towards renewed federalism would later backfire, but in the short run, it contributed to the Parti Québécois' unexpected landslide victory in April, the election that spurred Robert Bourassa to stalk the shadow of the Liberal leadership. The roller coaster then took a big dip as interest rates began to soar. Quebec was forced to cut its social affairs and education budgets. A tide of protest began mounting over the summer with angry cries from union leaders. For the first time in the Parti Québécois' history, its workers' support was crying foul. And as unemployment rose, the cries got louder. The first massive layoff was over the summer in Thetford Mines. Soon after, interest rates peaked at 22%, and a swell of small firms, along with GM and Pratt & Whitney, either fired or laid off some 30,000 Quebec workers, 40,000 by year's end. The constitutional hassles dragged on through the summer. By late fall, another bomb fell. Prime Minister Trudeau had isolated Lévesque from the rest of the premiers, and by November, Parliament okayed the constitutional package. Lévesque was furious, and his fury swelled in the ranks of his party. Weeks later, it would explode at the party Congress, where delegates threw fundamental principles to the wind. Lévesque, in a desperate effort to get the party back on track, threatened to resign, and the threat still looms. In the coming year, we'll know whether Lévesque and Ryan have written their last pages of Quebec history, whether Alberta's Indians succeed in blocking patriation of the Constitution, whether the economy bottoms out or pans out, whether we'll be walking through February snows while MUCTC maintenance workers man picket lines. For answers to these and other questions, stay tuned to CKGM News. I'm Carol Treiser, wishing you a very happy new year.
CKGM News time is 5:35. Hey, remember, CKGM pays for news. There's a weekly cash award and $1,000 for the best news tip of the year. The number to call is 935-NEWS. The big sports story of the day, and probably one of the biggest of the year, is a story about a 20-year-old Edmonton Oiler. Wayne Gretzky. With his 5 goals last night against the Flyers, he's up to 50 goals for only 39 games.
You know, I felt that it was going to be tough to get 5 tonight, but I just wanted to close in on the 50 and do the best I could, and I was fortunate to get a couple breaks.
And Gretzky has got a chance to make an even bigger dent in the record books this evening. The Oilers play in Vancouver. A couple of other games on tap this evening, the Leafs in Detroit and the North Stars in Buffalo. The dollar closed for the day and the year at 84.35 cents American. That's up by a 20th for the day. And the gold close in New York, $402.30. That's up by $2.90. Weather and Beau coming up.
Put a smile on that hungry face. Sing the song of the taste. You can only find in one place. Order from the French fries, ice cold, big shake, sundaes and apple pie. Sing that, get up and dance. On the French fries, snap your fingers and clap your hands. 'Cause whenever you need a break, from the French fries, you know who's got what it takes. McDonald's, you deserve a break today. Big Mac filet of fish, quarter pounder French fries, icy coke, big shake, sundaes and apple pie. McDonald's, filet of fish, quarter pounder French fries. McDonald's, big shake, sundaes and apple pie. McDonald's.
McDonald's shakes and sundaes are made with ice milk.
CKGM radar weather. Flurries this evening, overnight, and tomorrow morning. We get light to moderate snow. Look out for the blowing and drifting snow that'll go with that. The overnight low near -6. The high tomorrow near -2. A few flurries tomorrow afternoon. For Saturday, fair and cold. Sunday and Monday, variable cloudiness and a chance of flurries. The radar is clear. In the Laurentians, it's -6. In the townships and at Dorval, it's -4. It's -3 downtown. That's 26 Fahrenheit. I'm Bob Hodge with Beau at Montreal's radio station, CKGM.
The Cars with a bartender song. Shake it up. This is CKGM with Beau. We're 20 minutes away from the 60s for Supper show. It's CKGM. Hall & Oates. You make my dreams come true. 5:43. This is CKGM in Montreal. And coming up later tonight with Big Dan at 7 o'clock, the countdown of the top 40 songs of the past year, a special edition of Countdown Montreal.
That special day we waited for so long has come and gone in a blaze of glory. The Christmas gifts, once brightly colored in festive paper and filled with love and magic, have lived up to all their expectations. The wrapping paper and ribbons are now but memories of a special morning, Christmas Day. Whether you've experienced one of your first or the latest of many, it'll always hold a warm, sentimental place in your heart. And so, with holiday thoughts still fresh in our memories, we here at CKGM want to take the opportunity to express our appreciation for your help, Montreal, in our 1981 Toys for Tots campaign. Hundreds of Montreal children have realized the true meaning of Christmas, thanks to your generosity. Yes, Montreal, there is a Santa Claus. And from McDonald's, the Salvation Army, and CKGM, we thank you sincerely.
CKGM, that's Ronnie Griffith and Desire. Queen and David Bowie with Under Pressure before that. I'm Beau at 7 minutes to 6 o'clock.
Budweiser, brewed in Quebec by Labatt.
Back by popular demand, the pinups check into Le Damier Checkers tonight through Sunday night. Le Damier Checkers, where you can rock and roll your way into 1982 at their New Year's Eve party. Only $10 includes a hot and cold buffet and midnight bubbly. The pinups tonight through Sunday night and a New Year's Eve gala party tonight. For reservations, please call 276-8525. Check out Le Damier Checkers on Park Avenue and Mount Royal.
Coming up in 5 minutes here on CKGM, 60s for supper, and tonight we're going to pretend that it's New Year's Eve 1961. And taking us to our trip back in time is Bob Seger. 6 o'clock at CKGM with Beau, the 60s for supper show. And it's New Year's Eve 1961. Looking back at the #1 song of the year.
I couldn't sleep at all last night.
Bobby Lois, his first million seller and the #1 song from 1961, Tossin' and Turnin'. 60s for supper with Beau. It's New Year's Eve 1961, and coming up tonight, we'll look back at the year. Roy Orbison, Del Shannon, Chubby Checker, Bobby V, the Shirelles, Connie Francis, Ray Charles, and Elvis. Just a few of the songs you're about to hear in this next hour.
When good friends are getting together, the more that there are, the better. There's one beer we have, and that's okay, Bill. When good friends are getting together, sing us another one, just like the other one. Sing us another one now.
Next time you're with friends, it's a great time to try one great beer. Okie Pale.
I wonder what the weather was like 20 years ago on New Year's Eve. Well, tonight, radar weather at CKGM calls for snow, and quite a bit of it, too. Some blowing and drifting as well. Overnight low -6. Tomorrow high will be about -2. I don't know how high you're getting. That's another story. -3 right now at CKGM as we look back at 1961. Here was the #4 song of the year, also the 4th million seller for Roy Orbison.
On the Polish
games to score his first 50 goals this season. Let's go.
Sociale pour une dernière fois cette week.
National Radio report. Authorities have predicted it would happen.
It's gonna be a cool night. La musique de Paul Davis, il a raison pour ça. Ça va être une cool night ce soir. Attention, on vous donne la météo vers les 18h30. Et je sais déjà qu'il y a une veille météorologique en vigueur. Au cours des 10 prochaines minutes, on a pour vous un triple jeu sur le groupe All and Oates avec Your Kisses on My List, You Make My Dreams Come True. Et leur dernier succès, I Can Go For That. Voici Daryl Hall et John Oates.
A gentleman that was one of the main driving forces for the Spencer Davis Group in the 60s also made it with one of the biggest songs of 1981. In position 30, here's While You See a Chance, Take It. Steve Winwood on CKGM. Steve Winwood, While You See a Chance, Take It. Song number 30, the top songs in Montreal on this week's Countdown Montreal special New Year's edition for you. It's 7 minutes away from 8 o'clock, and we're going to keep counting them down until we get to the #1 song in 1981 from Montreal. By the way, CKGM radar weather says we've got a little bit of snow coming for the next 24 hours. In fact, we get it blowing and drifting and between 5 and 10 centimeters of snow accumulating. Low tonight, -6. High tomorrow for New Year's Day, -2. And right now, not a bad -3. Coming up, we're getting back to the Countdown Montreal, looking at the biggest songs of 1981.
Twice a year, the two most unusual furniture stores in Canada take some of the lowest furniture prices in Canada and make them lower still. It's called the Pascal's Green Tag Sale. And from now through the 9th of January, those green tags mean savings. Savings of up to 60% on brand new, brand name furniture. Every one of those green tags is attached to first quality furniture that till just a few days ago would have cost you a lot more money. And beyond those green tags, and there are hundreds of them, you'll find thousands of Pascal's wonderful selection of furniture, accessories, and appliances at Pascal's equally wonderful prices. So, before you spend a penny feathering that nest of yours, please spend an hour looking over the two huge stores full of savings at Pascal's twice-a-year green tag sale. This to continue through the 9th of January at Pascal's Furniture and Appliance on Jean Talon East and in the west on Côte Vertu.
Backed by popular demand, the Pinups check into Le Damier Checkers tonight through Sunday night. Le Damier Checkers, where you can rock and roll your way into 1982 at their New Year's Eve party. Only $10 includes a hot and cold buffet and midnight bubbly. The Pinups tonight through Sunday night and a New Year's Eve gala party tonight. For reservations, please call 276-8525. Check out Le Damier Checkers on Park Avenue and Mount Royal.
We're counting down the top songs of 1981 by your request and by your choice from record sales around all the major record stores. In position number 29, a song that was number 1 in Montreal on November 12th, 1981. Hall & Oates, Private Eyes, song 29 on CKGM. 1981 saw a lot of changes, musically and in other areas. For one young lady, the changes meant song number 28 of the top songs of 1981. And December 24th, just last week, the number 1 song in Montreal was Physical. Olivia Newton-John, song 28 of the top songs of the year on CKGM. In 1981, the Police came to Montreal to do a little mixing and to record a song at Le Studio in Morin Heights. And that song is song 27 of the top songs of the year. For the Police, the number 1 song on December 3rd, the number 27 song in the top 98, Every Little Thing She Does Is Magic. On Countdown Montreal, CKGM. Taking you back now to the summer of 1981, on August 7th, the number 1 song in Montreal was held by a fella called Frankie Smith. It holds down the number 26 spot on the top songs of the year, Double Dutch Bus, on Countdown Montreal, CKGM. That's Frankie Smith and the Double Dutch Bus, song number 26 of the top songs of 1981 on this special New Year's edition of Countdown Montreal. By the way, the top songs of 1981 are taken from the top 98 of CKGM has compiled this year. And you can get that in this morning's Gazette, page 36 in the entertainment section. Or if you like, come down to CKGM during office hours and you can pick one up here. We'll get back to the countdown in a moment.
Holiday time is here at Molson. We're happy to be part of the festivities. We've been brewing beer of quality for nearly 200 years. There are those who prefer Molson, some who party with Laurentide, those who favor Molson Light or celebrate with Predor. Molson's offering you a wonderful choice. Happy holidays!
In position number 25 of the top songs of 1981 is a band that holds down also one of the biggest albums of 1981. Foreigner was number 1 in October 22nd, 1981 with the song Urgent. Song 25 of the top songs of the year on CKGM. When you're thinking about the new year, of course, you're thinking celebration. The number 1 song in Montreal on February 19th, 1981 was the number 24 song of the top songs of the year. For Kool and the Gang, Celebration on CKGM. That's Journey, a group of people who consider themselves workaholics, and it certainly paid off in 1981 with song 23, Who's Crying Now, was number 1 in Montreal October 1st. Number 1 song on June the 4th, just as summer got underway in Montreal, was Gino Vanelli, Montreal's own, and it held down the number 22nd spot of the top songs of the year, Living Inside Myself on CKGM. A group of sisters that were daughters of a minister used to sing backup for such bands as Dr. Hook, Alvin Bishop, Taj Mahal, to name a few, had a number 1 song in September, just as you were getting ready to go back to school or whatever after summertime. On September 3rd, the number 1 song in Montreal is the number 21 song of the top songs of the year. For the Pointer Sisters, here's Slow Hand on CKGM. That's the Pointer Sisters. We're looking at the biggest songs of 1981, the biggest songs of the year, and that one happened to hold down the number 21 position. We'll continue counting them down till we get to number 1, and then at 10 o'clock, we've got a special dance party taking you into the brand new year. CKGM radar weather says tonight and tomorrow has some snow flurries. Not going to be too cold, though. -6 tonight, the low. -2 the high tomorrow. Right now, -2, and we'll get back to Countdown Montreal special New Year's edition after this.
CKGM and la Société des Alcools du Québec wish you a happy holiday and would like to remind you that moderation tastes better.
We're counting down the biggest songs in Montreal in 1981. We're about to look at the 20 biggest in the next few minutes. In position 20, a gentleman who had the number 1 spot in Montreal on the 14th of May, Grover Washington Jr. Just the two of us.
Radio's greatest hits of today and yesterday.
Get out of here.
Radio. Say goodbye. Z100.
Where you hear radio the way it used to be.
68 RKO.
I think it's time we unleash Roller Mania again. How about some concert tickets, huh? Call it number 9. Climb on the phone right now and give it to me. The phrase that pays.
All day today, WLS is celebrating the Big 89 Rewind.
WPGC FM Morningside with Lee Logan. How you doing tonight?
It's all right here.
66 WNBC New York.
WHBQ.
Playing it for Earl, Arkansas. Only cute. 100 and a new kid in town, JoJo Cookin' Kincaid. And it is imperative, I say imperative, that you send me one of your high school newspapers, and if you don't, it'll show on your report card.
On aircheck.com.